All right, welcome back. Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast. Another day,
Another day, baby.
another episode.
Another episode. I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired today. I stayed up too late last night. Robert Duvall passed recently, and so The Godfather was on. And anytime I see The Godfather on TV, that's one of those. There's
It just
certain
catches you.
There's certain movies that when they're on, you just got to stop and watch.
See, I'm more of the dumb ones.
Okay.
The dumb ones catch me, even though I've seen them 100 times. I'm just like, I got to keep watching it.
Well, you got to give me some examples then of what you think.
I mean,
dumb
it can be
ones.
dumb, like even like a Dumb and Dumber.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Samsonite.
Wedding Crashers.
That's
Old school.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's these dumb ones that I know it happens every time. I'm like, I got to stay up and watch it.
Now, I'll throw those in there too, right? Those will be ones that I'll stay up and, watch. But The Godfather was on, and I was like, I got to watch these. Those are great movies. So, stayed up a little too late.
How many did you watch, or how long did you watch?
I tuned in, and it was maybe about a quarter of the way into the first Godfather.
Okay.
Right. And they were running them, Godfather 1, Godfather 2. I don't know if Godfather 3 was coming up, but I got about halfway through the second one before I fell asleep.
I'm out. Tapping out.
I think I didn't decide to tap out. I it just happened, and I woke up a little bit later, and my wife had turned the TV off and all that good jazz. But it was about halfway through the second Godfather.
Now, was she watching them with you?
Oh no.
Okay.
No, she doesn't share my taste. I
just kind of thought, but I was sitting going, okay, are you laying in bed watching it? Or are you on couch watching it? Is she like in there with your daughter? Like what's
so started on the couch, right? And then when the first one ended, we made the move to the bed, because that was right around 10 o'clock.
She's zoned out.
She has zero interest in it. She's a big reader, right?
Yeah.
So she gets her reading in, during that time frame, and it's quality time together, right? But yeah, when it comes to movies, she's more of a Hallmark girl. That's
more
tough.
my parents. My sister-in-law is the same way.
Yeah, I can't do that one though. I just can't get into Hallmark. It's tough.
I can't say I've ever spent more than like 10 minutes. Thankfully, so Julie does not watch Hallmark, so they're not on at my house. I mean, maybe if my mom shows up and has to watch the kids for something, maybe it's on, and probably not though.
It's an acquired taste, and one that I'm
sure they're nice. Feel good shows. I just
The one thing I know about Hallmark, we talked about it before, Christmas movies, right? They do a Christmas in July where they show all these Christmas movies.
Well, you said,
and Leslie sit there and watch them all. But
there goes back to our Christmas movie show debate and all that. So
hey, we're always
Allie's behind the camera. She probably watches Hallmark all the time.
She was telling me earlier about her affinity for old TV shows like Bonanza and stuff like that. So
So that's her jam.
That's her jam.
Okay, so, now we know.
Oh,
now we know. Mine are the dumb movies.
Well,
like you said, normally it's sports on TV. If I even get a chance to watch TV, I'm telling you, with kids now and sports and them coming home, like we're not home. We're not eating dinner half the time until 8:30 at night.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gotten a bit crazy, and whatever. I guess we do that to ourselves.
I was going to say it's very rare for me to be able to sit down and watch anything, right? But even and it's an attention span thing, but it's tough to just sit down to watch 20 to 30 minutes of something without being like, oh, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. So it's very rare, but when in certain circumstances with certain shows, it can get me. So
there you go. And you're between sports right now, I think, anyways, aren't you? Or you're getting ready to start one. So it's like you said, between basketball, you get from basketball or football to baseball, you get a little bit of a break.
You get a little bit of a break, right? But hey, the other side is we got some golf kicking off here. Next thing you know, the Masters will be here, and we're getting into the throes of golf season, major golf. So who knows? Maybe Tiger Woods is going to play at the Masters. He wouldn't rule it out.
Let's see.
Yeah. If he does, bet for him to make the cut.
Yeah.
It's always a great bet at the Masters. put a little money on Tiger to make the cut, and you'll be happy about that.
Get a couple bucks back.
So,
there you go.
All right. Well, hey, look, we've been doing this growth series, right? And
let's keep at it.
We're going to keep at it today, and really kind of what we wanted to talk about was what's the silent killer of growth within an agency, right? I think, especially coming out of this hard market, we kind of wanted to touch on what are some of the things that agencies are doing that actually can limit their growth and hurt the overall financial health of the organization.
Yeah. So I'd ask you, what do you see out there, man? You've talked to more agencies than most people. I mean, I talked to a bunch, but I would give you the leg up that historically you talk to more day in and day out. So what do you see out there?
So I personally, I think it's kind of twofold. One of it is comfortability, right? If an agency becomes too comfortable, then that's the silent killer, right? Because you're not necessarily seeing the bottom line suffer today, but if you're not consistently investing in and focused on generating organic new revenue, it can really harm the agency.
I agree with you 100% there, because I think our business, the way that it's built and the renewal income, it does make a lot of people comfortable. They get to a point and they're just like, I'm good. Yeah. I'm making a good living, whatever that may mean to that person, and I'm just comfortable. I can see that.
The way I look at it, historically, and I've talked to a ton of people over my 10 years, but also being in the industry really since I was a young boy. That was what a lot of people were attracted to was, hey, I can come in, I can build a book of business, and I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, right? And hey, not to tell you this wrong, right? But there are some things there that by going that route, you're going to hurt the health of the business. You're going to hurt your equity. You're going to, pay for that at some point. When that point is, it depends on what the market's doing, right?
For sure.
But, what I see happen a lot of times is when they get comfortable, other things slow down in the agency as far as prospecting.
Yeah, they just stop. What are you talking about? They slow down. Yeah. Right? I mean, they get comfortable.
I'm giving some the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think look, I think it's no different than our segue into everything. Just talking whether you're watching a movie, we're sitting on a couch, you're in the bed, whatever. Like you're getting comfortable. You're just not doing anything. Now you're just vegging out on what you were doing.
Right.
Your brain's not doing anything else. And so I do think that comfort is somebody slipping back into the couch.
And then
I like this rerun, right? I mean, that's what they're saying is I'm here. I like this rerun.
I like this rerun. And so, I think comfortability or being comfortable is a silent killer of the business. And then I would say the other side of it is, especially the last few years with what we've seen in the market, it's the reliance upon rate to grow the bottom line. That's another huge killer because we see agencies, they think everything's good because they see the bottom line growing.
I see the top line first, bottom line second. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And they're going, hey, we're making more money today than we did yesterday. But it's not a healthy growth within the organization. And so as the market swings, because that's what the market does.
Yeah, that's what it's doing.
Right. That's going to then shrink that bottom line. It's going to shrink that top line, to your point. And kind of going back to a previous conversation we had about the compounding of things, you're not going to be able to make up that lack of growth during that time frame. Yeah. Right. So I think, one, not becoming too comfortable. But then two is not building an agency reliant upon rate for growth.
So let me say this, because I think it kind of goes into what you're saying as well. And kind of one of my items for silent growth is just not knowing your numbers. Okay. So I think people that don't know their numbers and know where they're at, to your point, all they're doing is looking in their bank account, looking on their income statement,
looking at their premium
whatever they may do
to
do that. And the carrier report, just going, okay, what's the premium dollars, which would never suggest that. but people do, to your point. If you don't know your numbers, how do you know if you're growing or not? And so it goes back to your point of, if you don't know your numbers, then just that little bit of rate fluctuation that gives you that 8-point swing, you're like, well, I grew 8%. But you're like, but did you grow? Did your policy count grow? Yeah. What happened inside that? And most people just chalk it up that I'm good, Yeah. And just pump their chest a little bit, going, man, we grew.
Well, I also feel like a lot of agencies in some fashion, they don't look at themselves as a sales organization first.
They want good service. Okay, we all want good service.
Everybody wants good service, but an insurance agency is first and foremost a sales organization. It's a for-profit business, and so you have to be intentional on a daily basis, focused on continuing to grow and sell. And within that point, part of being able to grow effectively, efficiently, and appropriately is you have to know your numbers.
Yeah, I got to.
You have to know your numbers. If you don't, I mean, I come in to agencies quite often that don't know their numbers, Bill.
Oh yeah,
and that makes
it takes them a month or two to track them down. You're like, man, you say it all the time. You're like, I'm just waiting on numbers, and I'm like, it is quite amusing. They go, it takes people that long to track down any sort of number for their agency. I'm like, man, this is wild.
I'm here to help you, right? And it makes it more difficult for me to help you. I can only imagine what it does within other areas of your organization if you don't know your numbers, right? And so I think that is key, and that's part of the intentionality of focusing on growing your business is, okay, I think you've said it plenty of times, you have to know what you're doing, and part of that's knowing your numbers. We see these agents that get comfortable or that rely too much on rate increases to grow. Everything suffers, right? You stop working on building relationships, you stop working on your centers of influence, you slow down on your prospecting, and then what happens is, as that market swings, as something changes, as that really large account sells to private equity and you see a huge dip in your revenue,
nothing to replace it, do you?
But they start chasing transactions.
Yeah, no, that's
right.
Yeah.
And they go, how do I make this up? And we've talked about that aspect of it, and that we know that's not sustainable.
Yeah, no, it's not, man. No, I mean, this is just a big topic, and unfortunately, we see it all the time. To your point, and I think that's why there's a lot of agencies that I've had to sell. There's a lot of agencies that probably haven't got good valuations for their business because they are silently
They're
going backwards.
Yeah,
when it comes to that,
and I think that's the key, right? We talk all the time is this is going to be the most valuable asset you're more than likely going to own. And if you're not intentional on a daily basis, focused on being a sales organization, at the end of the day, you're hurting your equity. You're hurting the value of your asset because that's going to matter tremendously in your valuation.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you one thing that we talk about a lot here at our retail agency, and we have different departments too, right? So, we got property and casualty with personal lines, commercial lines. We have employee benefits, and there's a lot of different moving parts and different factors when it comes to this. But one of the killers that can happen, that will sneak up on you, again, that silent killer, is it takes time.
Yes.
So people just don't realize if they go out of the gate like, I'm going to start selling, and we've hired these people, or I've done this, that, and the other, it takes time.
Yeah.
They cannot write a piece of business that second. And then if they do write a piece of business, it may be for a future effective date in 30 days. And then you may not get paid for another 30 days. And so what people don't realize is like, okay, I'm investing this money now. I'm gonna be okay.
Right.
And I'm like, no. No, next year, yeah. Like if you're doing the work today, that may mean good numbers for 2027. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, it's tough if you're not already putting in the work
right now.
Yeah, and previously,
right,
for it to affect your numbers this year. It just, and I'm not saying it can't happen. What I'm saying is it doesn't typically happen. It typically takes time.
It's not a quick fix.
No, it's not.
This is an industry that's not a get-rich-quick industry.
That's right.
Right? And so if you find yourself in this situation where you look at yourself in the mirror and I've gotten comfortable. I've relied too much on rate. To your point, one, you need to start working on it yesterday. Yeah. But you're not going to see that change for some time.
Yeah. You said, and if you're not doing it, they are comfortable and they're like, okay, I hear you. I hear you, Travis. I hear you, Bill. That's fine. If you can get out of your comfort zone and start getting there, just don't give up when you don't see the numbers immediately, because
Correct.
I don't think it's going to happen, especially if you're trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
It just isn't going to happen. So what you're doing is building that base for 2027 now. I hate saying that, but you are going back to what we say a lot of times. You have to invest in your agency, and I think it's something we may talk about later.
Yeah.
Is invest now for
future gains.
Yeah. Then when they think they want to re-engage, it doesn't hit them as quick as they want. They're like, well, this doesn't work. And they just give up.
Move on. Yeah.
Then the silent killer becomes the known killer. And it's just like down.
And you just see it go downwards.
Or maybe they get lucky. They're going down this much, but the rate's going up just as fast and they're okay. And it bails them out. But if rate does go down, personal lines, I don't feel like it ever does. Commercial lines, it does. I mean, I think we won't see it go down this year, but we're seeing it
Flat.
maybe come to a flatter point. Is, maybe they're okay. Okay, well, I say, right? Not.
And to your point, I mean, I think we've talked about it in other podcasts. As you're building your agency in general, you need to know what you're building it for. Right? Hey, am I building this for a perpetuation tool? Am I building this to sell it? What am I building my agency for? And I would say these agents that get comfortable oftentimes are lifestyle agents, right? And their agency is there to fund their lifestyle. And, I think that creates some challenges even in that scenario. And, if you're an agency and you've got, young children and you're an agency owner, I think majority of the people I talk to that are looking to step into agency ownership or current owners mention, perpetuation to a family member, right? That's something that they envision and they hope for. If you're getting too comfortable today, if you're not growing, you're limiting what you can do for that family member in the future, because the agency is not going to have the revenue to support that person coming in.
Yeah.
Right. And then even to your point, if that person comes in and let's just say they're a rock star, right? Let's just say they hit the ground running. There's no learning curve or anything like that. It's still some time before you see that catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So I think that's the other piece is, okay, maybe you're not wanting to build the biggest, baddest agency to sell to private equity one day or whomever for the most money you can make. You still have to be uncomfortable. You still have to be intentional. You still have to be focused on organic growth on a daily basis in your business to be able to support a perpetuation plan, to be able to support, changes within the market.
We've talked about this, even just giving your team raises. It's like if
keeping
you're
your
not,
staff.
Yeah, if you're not growing, how can you give them raises?
Yeah.
And so, and I do believe we've talked about that before. And so that's a key thing. If you don't want to sell and you don't want to perpetuate and you're just living in the moment, okay, whatever. That's fine, maybe. But your staff is probably coming to you, knocking on the door, going, it costs more to live. Interest rates are higher. I need to do more things. You're like, inflation is real. But if you're not growing, you're not just seeing it. So it's
It makes it difficult to build a business that has the right reputation in the community.
Yeah.
Right. And strengthen those employee relationships within your centers of influence, relationships with the community, you name it, right?
Yeah.
It just makes it harder because then in turn, if you're not growing, when the market swings, when things happen, you're going back going, hey, what can I cut? Where can I save some money? And that nobody wants to be in that position.
Yeah. So I'll make the statement argument of people that are comfortable, don't want to do anything great. Your problem is nobody's going to want to come work for you and your staff still want raises. So even if you're not somebody that wants to grow and be the biggest, baddest, to your point, you still got to hit some kind of numbers. You still need to know your numbers, still need to grow without the market swings going up.
Yeah.
Because your team may not be comfortable. You may be comfortable, but your team may not be
comfortable. And then the other side of it too, life happens, right?
Yeah.
The management system you're on today probably is outdated tomorrow,
or their price just goes up, or they upgrade because they're growing and that price goes up,
right? Or an event happens, and no different than owning a vehicle. You have to plan to put new tires on it at some point.
That's right.
Things like that. You have to continue to grow to create revenue, to invest in the business, to keep conducting business, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Those are things that when you become comfortable, you lose sight of.
I think silent killers can become, just straight up killers of agency growth. But, identifying some of these things we talked about, hopefully will help people realize that, know your numbers, get going.
Yeah, I was going to say, know your numbers, be intentional about what you're doing, and make sure that you don't lose sight of the fact that you are a sales organization.
Absolutely. Cool deal, man. Well, look, I appreciate you coming to Jacksonville again.
Yeah, man. Always a good time. We'll be back soon and do another episode.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.